When you have been in survival mode for so long, survival mode just feels like your normal, and any moment of peace or creativity or just any moment where worry and paranoia is just not in that moment doesn't feel fully safe. You don't fully feel like you're allowed or safe to settle in that moment, and you might even catch yourself, your mind, finding things to feel worried and paranoid about, creating scenarios and situations where crises happen in the future for you to prepare for. And I know this is something that has happened for me through health anxiety. And you might even see other people living their dream life that they have manifested and they're thriving. And you really desire that for yourself, but you might tell yourself and believe that other people can have that and you cannot. And it's not that you living a life of your dreams and stepping into your potential isn't available for you, but there is most likely unresolved, suppressed emotions in your body that is keeping you stuck in fight or flight mode or in survival mode, which is like literally the same thing. And you might find yourself, your body, especially your stomach, constantly clenching and bracing, and your heart is racing. You overthink and worry and catastrophize about the worst thing happening because that has helped you survive. And when you go through big T trauma, and a lot of the time when we go through big T trauma in our life, especially when we're younger, literally any stage in our lives, especially when we have big T trauma and we are not emotionally supported by our family, by our caregivers, and we're not given the tools and the safe space and the guidance to actually digest these emotions, it's a lot for us to handle. And when we do not have that emotional capacity to actually digest it, we end up suppressing it and stuffing it down. So sometimes the things that we catastrophize about or that we worry and feel paranoid about is not even the thing itself, it's the emotions that are going to come with that thing. It's the stress that is going to come with that. And deep down, we already know and we do not trust that we will be able to digest and handle that stress in a way where it won't consume us. So we try to prepare in a way where we can maybe escape the feeling, where we can handle it. And unfortunately, when we grow up not having that emotional safe space, when we are continuously abandoned and neglected, especially when it comes to our emotions, we perpetuate that relationship with ourselves. And so to really help you and nurture you in being able to go from surviving to thriving is being able to go back to traumatic events that have caused you a lot of fear, a lot of pain, a lot of loss, a lot of heartbreak, a lot of disappointment, and creating that safe space now where you can actually process and digest those emotions. And the thing about this is that it doesn't happen all at once. It is a journey, and with not having the emotional capacity to actually digest emotions, you have to slowly build up a tolerance to your emotions and actually becoming familiar with what emotions feel like in your body and what it feels like to actually digest those emotions. And because I've experienced health anxiety and I've been really afraid of getting sick and what might happen to that, when I actually dig deeper within that, I feel afraid that if I were to have a health crisis that I won't be supported, that everything will get ripped from under me and any potential of the life that I desire to live will be taken away from me, will be thwarted, and I will have to just struggle and suffer. And I am constantly feeling this paranoia that all there is for me in the future is struggling and suffering. And this fear has had me connect the dots to a lack of emotional support in my life growing up in my childhood. When I was younger, both of my parents were arrested, and so that was one of the first experiences in my life where everything that I knew, my parents, my home, was ripped up from under me. And that grief, that loss was a lot to handle as a fucking 3-year-old child. So when we don't have the emotional capacity, when we don't have the tools, the support system, when we're just so young and those emotions are just too much for us to handle, we literally have no choice. Our nervous system does this for us. It is a biological response that happens subconsciously. We suppress it. We don't face it. And it creates core beliefs and core wounds at such a young age about what our life experiences are going to be like and how to survive and navigate the world when you are constantly fearing or have experienced time and time again this type of trauma. I have to stun on you bitches real quick. Hold on. Oh, it's. I know, I look like a fucking goddess right now. Anyways, child, like I was saying, But you might catch yourself struggling to really feel safe and to relax in your own body because somewhere behind the scenes, there's this story and this narrative and belief that it is not safe for you to fully relax and let go, because in some ways it might be responsible that if you let go, you won't be prepared for whatever next crisis might take place, or what next crisis or thing that is going to be thrown your way. So you constantly have this bracing going on. You constantly are scanning your environment to stay prepared and to stay alert to survive. Chances are, if you are seeing this video, you are more than ready and more than capable to take that step forward into creating the safe space, your nervous system, your inner child, the versions and the parts of you that have experienced big and little t trauma repeatedly in your life, and to actually digest those emotions and to actually connect to your body and become familiar with what it feels like to feel fear, to feel anger, to feel these emotions in your body, and to actually digest them. Because you don't just digest them or process them mentally, it is a somatic experience. And when you start to create a safe space for these emotions to be felt, like I said, it does not happen all at once, but your nervous system will start to signal that it is safe and will slowly but surely release more and more over time. Because it's not that you're not allowed to thrive, it's not that thriving isn't available to you, but there are things going on behind the scenes in your subconscious that do not feel safe, that the things that have happened in your life have shaped your nervous system and the way that you relate and perceive the world and how you move throughout the world. But if you really want to do that, you really have to go and dig in deep, and whatever fears you perceive are going to happen in the future, allow that to be a guide for you to connect back to yourself, and allow that to illuminate what is really going on beneath the surface. Because like I said, it's usually not the health anxiety or the fear of getting sick. I mean, sometimes it is, like, bitch, sometimes I do fear getting sick, but it's a lot fucking deeper than that when you actually are open enough to receiving the depth that is being reflected back to you. Because when that unresolved, unprocessed fear, shame, disappointment, whatever, is no longer clouding your judgment, you will be able to see clearly. You will be able to rest in your body enough where you're able to receive what you deserve, where you are able to receive the depths of your being in such a beautiful way. Because this work really requires not only nervous system regulation and nervous system upgrading, but also like foundational reworking. Like, you are changing the foundation of what everything your life has been built on up to this fucking point. You are rebuilding your identity, your self-concept, your relationship with yourself. And a lot of us, because we have experienced emotional neglect and abandonment, we have low effort relationships with ourselves. And I don't say that to shame you, but that's because our parents had low effort relationships with us, because they had low effort relationships with themselves. And it's a pattern that has been carried and carried and carried and passed down through our lineage. And like I said, chances are, if you are seeing this, you are the one who is ready to take care of that shit. And if you ever need help, if you ever need guidance, if you don't know how to approach this, there's resources for nervous system regulation. But if you want co-regulation, if you want emotional support system and safe space, you can always book a consultation and book a one-on-one reading with me, so I can help you and provide you with tools and reassurance and things that I have learned on my journey that have really helped me create emotional capacity to support myself and my nervous system and my inner child the way that I fucking deserve, so I can live the life that I meant to live, that I desire to live. Because bitch, I've given myself no other choice to thrive, and doing this work is just evidence that that is happening, and it can happen for you too. But like I said, if you ever need help, if you ever want guidance, if you ever want that personal connection, that personal, the link is in the bio, babe. Kisses.